morning, everyone, and thanks for getting up with us on this Sunday of spring. It is 6 o'clock. I'm Libby Dowsett alongside Corey Johnson. Halfway through spring?
Yes.
Or not spring, April.
April, yes. And I mean, honestly, we're doing it in wet fashion because we're going to see showers again like we saw yesterday. The only difference is it'll be a little bit lighter. So I want to take you outside this morning where we have a cloudy start. Our Rose City camera, many spots got a little bit in the way of sprinkles this morning, but we are actually looking pretty clear on radar right now, 52 degrees. Our temperatures right now sitting in the upper 40s, low 50s in many spots, 51 in Hillsborough as well as Beaverton, 52 as we saw in Portland. Looks like 46 right now in Gresham. This is our Salem sky camera. Beautiful view of the Capitol this morning, 48 degrees and a nice southeast breeze out there. As I mentioned, radar not very active. We do have a few sprinkles near the northern and central Oregon coast, but other than that, looking pretty good. We will have some on and off showers though throughout the rest of the day. I want to give you a look at Futurecast. Notice as we get to the early part of the afternoon, it looks like those light showers start to become just a tad widespread for us. And then into the evening, we will see them closer toward the Willamette Valley. Other than what we're seeing this morning, a little bit heavier is what I mean. In the way of temperatures though, we are going to get into the mid 50s today, so it'll definitely feel like spring out there. I'll break down the timing of a new system that's coming later in the week in just a minute.
Thank you, Corey. As we get closer to summer, our wildfire risk is top of mind after a warm winter with periods of extremely dry weather. In Clackamas, crews are working to clean up the forest floor at a local park. Jake Holter was there.
Here at Mount Scott Nature Park, crews are feeding downed branches and trees into a chipper as they work to prevent forest fires this summer, as the park is mere feet from nearly 100 homes.
There has not been a fuels mitigation like this done before.
Along the Mount Scott Nature Trail in Happy Valley, crews are trying to get ahead of potential wildfires.
Right next to the homes is where we're focusing.
Clackamas Fire Wildland Operations Division Chief Brent Olson describes the process.
What we're doing is taking a lot of the heavier fuels and removing those so we can keep the fire intensity, if there's a fire here, low and on the ground where firefighters like myself can go in and suppress the fire.
That big one.
Happy Valley enlisting the help of a couple dozen Oregon National Guard troops to help clear the forest floor.
Giving back to the communities is the main reason why they're here, and this is a big task, and they're excited to be here.
And the troops aren't the only ones excited. A local resident we spoke with culling the brush is glad to have reinforcements.
This is fantastic. We've needed it for a long time, and so I'm really happy to see the city stepping up and putting together a project like this. I hope there's more in the future.
This project made possible by a $65,000 wildlife risk reduction grant from the State Fire Marshal's office. Chief Olson shows us the progress made so far.
When we started the project, this is a very good representation of what we were dealing with at the start. But as you can see, as we move to the left here, we open up the spacing, we limb a little bit of the foliage up without taking away from the view shed of both the nature park, but also the adjacent homeowners.
Olson also calling on homeowners to do their part to prevent wildfires from spreading.
Mitigate the things that can be done. It doesn't mean eliminating all the trees or shrubbery around your house. What it means is think about how a fire might move through and steps you can take to better protect your own home.
There you go.
Jake Holter, KGW News.
Yeah, we all have to do our part. The crew will be back out today to continue clearing that park. President Trump has approved a major disaster declaration for Oregon and Washington. It's related to the winter storm in mid-December, which caused wind damage, flooding, and landslides. Here in Oregon, FEMA announced federal disaster assistance for the counties of Clackamas, Hood River, Lane, Lincoln, Lynn, Polk, Tillamook, Union, and Yamhill. With Portland Public Schools facing a budget shortfall, parents are learning more about the district's budget process. Saturday, district leaders held a community engagement event at Kellogg Middle School. They talked about ways to close the $50 million budget gap ahead of next school year. Some of the considerations: closing schools and cutting hundreds of jobs.
And we're no different than any other district that's experiencing declining enrollment. And so our whole purpose is foundationally have well-resourced schools where all of our kids can have access to rigorous, comprehensive programming.
The district's senior chief of operations says the district is not planning to close any schools next year, but the current plan is to have a 2027 budget package ready in November for the school board to vote on in December. People who support having a new passenger ferry on the Willamette River are trying to keep the idea afloat, and they're having to get creative to find funding. Blair Best explains.
Wednesday morning, near the banks of the Willamette,
I love the enthusiasm.
the latest in a years-long push to reshape Portland's waterfront by way of a ferry, the Frog Ferry.
For years, many of us have been in the stands talking about what Portland could do better. Frog Ferry is about turning that energy into action.
The vision? 7 electric passenger ferries making 9 stops along the Columbia and Willamette Rivers from Vancouver to Oregon City, including stops near the Moda Center, OMSI, Milwaukee, and Lake Oswego. Each vessel carrying up to 100 people at $3.50 a ticket.
We have to create a more robust and more vibrant transportation network while also reducing greenhouse gases and vehicle miles traveled, and doing this in a responsible way.
So what's the holdup? Funding. The nonprofit behind Frog Ferry, Friends of Frog Ferry, needs $22 million to launch within 3 years. After falling short on city and state support, they're now turning to you, the community.
We're launching a community ownership campaign because we believe this should be built with the community.
Buy in for $300 and become a Frog Ferry owner. $15,000 gets you a seat name. $900,000 names a vessel. The goal? $2 million from the community.
It tells partners, it tells potential supporters, Portland is ready.
The former president and CEO of the NFL's Green Bay Packers even showed his support when in town Wednesday.
I am a proud owner of the Frog Ferry.
The group is also looking to Salem for state money, an idea Republican Senator Bruce Starr supports.
Why would a legislator that represents Yamhill and Polk County be in downtown Portland advocating for a ferry system? I'm here because it makes sense. I'm going to do what I can do as a state legislator, as a Republican leader in the Oregon State Senate, to assist, to help, to find resources.
Blair Best reporting. Some good news for drivers on the way. After a 6-month closure, the Broadway Bridge is reopening to traffic today. It's been shut down since last October, so road crews could replace the bridge deck and install new streetcar tracks. Multnomah County said there will be another short-term closure coming up next weekend so crews can do final installations. The springtime weather means more people are getting started on their outdoor projects. Before breaking out your shovel, local gas companies want to make sure you remember a simple but important phrase: call before you dig. Specifically, they want you to call 811 at least 2 business days before you dig, a foot or more below ground level. That way crews can locate and mark underground utility lines so you know where to avoid.
Do you have any projects coming up that the weather's turning nice? Are you going to be outside digging in your yard? I would really appreciate, and it's actually the law, that you call 811 or contact 811 prior to doing that project so you know where underground utilities are and you don't risk damaging them. It can be very costly to damage a utility and also put you at a safety risk.
Again, the number is 811 2 business days before digging.